organization?
So I think that you have to understand why you have time alone with God, and it's to like connect with Him, and in return that'll make your business or whatever job you are trying to accomplish better.
Nice. Regan, now that I'm back online, I want to hear your answer.
Talking about like with the video that we watched, how it connects, or
I would love to hear any comments you have about the Time Alone with God baggage assignment, or Simon Sinek's what is your why video, or a combination of both.
well, I think that goes off of what Parker just said, where I don't know how can anything grow, any business or even your relationship, when you don't have that alone time with God. You're not diving into His Word and figuring out how you can better the relationship and I don't know, grow with Him and see what you need to work on in each area of your life. And I think the same in a business. You have to take that time to figure out how it's going to grow. Just like in the video that we watched, I said you gotta like believe in it in order for something to grow. That's it.
Nice job, Regan. Jennifer, what do you think about, what did you learn? What did you find valuable with all of this?
I think just like figuring out, like spending that time with God will really help you figure out your purpose, and like it'll make the job a lot easier because you know what you're doing it for, and it's for the kingdom. So I think it's a lot easier to get your priorities straight when you do that, like once a week or whatever.
I absolutely love that. And the reality is, the reason why I love being able to be a teacher is because I want you guys to go out and change the world for Christ. Do I want you to be really successful in business? Absolutely. But do I want more so than anything for your life to be a reflection of Christ so that other people will want to know Him more? That's what we're doing here. That's the reason why we go off into the, when Jesus went off to pray, He always went up on the mountainside and just was alone before God to pray. You guys are going to have to do that too. Like my list is, just in the 20 minutes we had, I probably put 30 things on my list and realized that I can't do any of this without God and without His direction. So that's the most important takeaway from today, is if you want to manage a company that's going to bring glory to God, you have to carve out time at least once a week to go be quiet without any distractions with Him and ask Him to set your direction. And then my advice to you is, once you're done doing that, then make your to-do list. What am I going to work on? What are the priorities? What, after I asked God for priorities, did I feel like were the priorities that I have to work on? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm going to ask you guys just to go on to Connect for a minute and take a look at what's coming up and ask if there's any questions before we kind of close up today. I put your final project on Connect, so I know that we have that, and you guys can start to think about how you're going to work with that. You just have the paper of doing the personality profile analysis that's going to be due at the end of this week. Just so everybody kind of knows, I am not like a guy that's going to just uncover APA commas and periods and that's not really how I work. I want you to stay in APA format, but a lot of these questions are, what did you think? So it's okay to use first person. It's okay to do your best citing a source, and if I see something wrong with it, I'll just correct it, but it's not going to be like that's the best you can do as a B because you didn't get your APA right. I just want you to continue to try to get better, but I'm most interested in making sure that you guys went out into the internet and searched for people that have your same personality type and how they struggled or how they succeeded and how they used the information that was available to them to be a better person, manager, fill in the blank. The personality type, you guys know how passionate I am because the first 4 weeks, that's all we've been talking about. I'm a big fan of know yourself, know God, and then find out what's next. And that's going to be the path that we take in the management class too. The other thing that I want you to do is by the end of this week in Blackboard, I want you to tell me what organization you're going to work on. And you can start a discussion with me via text or email or even in the discussions on Blackboard, but let's pick one organization that you can actually find enjoyment with working on. And let's make sure that that's something that we focus on, is make sure you choose that one so that I can tailor my conversation to what you're working on and figure out how are we going to make that all work. Does that make sense? So plug that into Blackboard so I can see which one that you're working on. Nod your head if you're with me.
What are we doing exactly with this organization?
This is going to be your final paper. So at the end of Connect, you'll see the components of the final paper. And it's basically taking a whole bunch of the headings and writing about how you would set up as manager of an organization. So if it's the volleyball team, you're going to tell me how you would do those 10 questions to make sure that you were able to create a culture and a system there as the manager. If you chose the greenhouse or anything else, you're going to go through and ask the questions of, not only which organization are you, but how do the things that we learned about in class relate to a real world organization, and how are you going to make sure that those are played out as if you were the manager? So it's almost like if you were the manager, here's what I would do type of a component. Or I went and met with the manager, here's what they are doing, here's what I would do differently.
Is an organization you have to be able to go to and interview, or can it be one that's far away, or just a big company?
I would try to keep it a little bit smaller just so you have access to a manager. However, if you work for a big corporation and you know somebody that manages the employees at this section of the company, I would be all for that. I really just want you to find an organization that you love. If you can visit it, great, but I think you can get the same thing if you just have an email or a phone chat with the manager and ask them some questions from your perspective about what you're learning. So in a perfect world, you can go there and talk with the manager, but right now it's just identify what type of organization you want to work with, and then I'll help you narrow down your focus.
So it has to be some form of interview, though, correct?
Yes.
And it can be a coach, right?
But it can be.
Yes, you can use a coach.
So I could use my volleyball team and then interview my team coach, correct?
Yes, you could. And if it's something that you're in charge of, I know that there's one where it's the band and there's really not a manager. You can still use that without a interview, just because I think it's pertinent to everything that we're doing, and you can tell me what you think as the manager. So even you, Kylie, if you wanted to use the volleyball team, but you're already the captain, you can do it from the captain's perspective without an interview, and I think you can do just as good by just telling me how you see this class being able to help you be a better captain of the volleyball team. Does that make sense?
Can I do it for the company that I work for?
Yes, you can. How many people are in the direct management of the supervisor?
How many people work for the company?
So usually a company has lots and lots of people, and then you have to think about how many people have the direct report to one manager. So how many people have a direct report to the same manager as you, Molly?
Probably about 50.
Okay, yeah, that would be a great one. And you can tell me, you can do a compare and contrast where you tell me how the manager does it now and how you would do it if you took over as the manager.
Okay.
And is this part of the final project, or where are we turning in this interview, and when do we have to do it again?
This is all part of the final project, so nothing will be due. You're going to work on little pieces of it throughout the semester, but I don't want to see this until exam week. But it's going to be something that we continue to work on, so it's the one piece of, I can be really proud of everything I learned in management. Here's what it is. This is your final project, just is able to show the world that you were able to not only do the Connect work, but you were able to tie it into a real live organization.
So for right now, we're just picking up.
Right now, you're just picking, yep, and then I'll give you direction throughout the next 10 weeks and make sure it's perfect before you hand it in, because I'm not going to let you guys do poorly on it. It's just I need to know who it is so I can start thinking about ways to guide you toward the best way to organize it.
Then did we have to actually submit anything in the discussion goes for the baggage assignment?
No, I just wanted you guys to be able to easily see it. I would love to hear your thoughts on the baggage assignment. Just let's do that. Just give me a paragraph on the baggage assignment of just where you saw the value, how we could do it better for future classes, or how you're going to use it in your own life. Any of those things, just a paragraph so we can have something that says we did it. That sound fair to everybody?
Yes. So.
Chambers, how are you? Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Then I'm winning. All right, Connect work. It seems like there were some struggles with the last assignment where there were lots of different questions that felt like it could have been justice or it could have been moral reasoning. I just want all of you to say thanks to Reagan Beefish here and everybody 15 extra points for telling me that there was a few of them that didn't make sense, and I'm going to tack on 15 points to everybody's when I go back through. So you did get a couple of extra questions for free. I gave everybody 3 questions just to make sure that it was seen as valuable for everybody. I'll go through Connect this week and tidy up Blackboard so you can all see where you stand. And outside of that, I hope that we just take away from this class, the most important piece is to follow God as a manager. Because when we talk about diversity and we talk about all of those different ethical dilemmas, they become a lot less challenging when you are seeking God every morning. Very rarely do you have a manager walk out of devotions and start sexual harassment. I know it happens, but I know that it is a lot less prevalent if you dedicate your work and your life to God. A lot of those justice issues become easy to figure out. Any other questions before we close, guys?
No.
Thank you again for being relevant and staying with me, and thanks for staying on while I had to switch from one internet section to the other. That's going to happen every once in a while, but now I have 3 separate forms of internet, so I will always come back. If I don't, I'll send an email out. Let me know if there's anything else I can do to help. Otherwise, you guys are doing a great job, and I really appreciate you showing up every week.
Everybody bye. Everybody wave.
Am I back on? Yeah. Thanks, guys.